Essence House.
Aftershow!
Oh, wait. Welcome to the Essence House After Show, where we talk about the Essence House. This week's episode, we're going to be talking about episode 5, an exchange of trust.
Ooh.
And joining me is the creators of the Essence House, Eric Cockrell.
Hey.
And Chuck Pino.
What's up?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Amazing.
Good. Very good. Pumped. Ready to do it.
Ready to... So what? We're about halfway through the first season.
Literally.
Yeah. Number 5 was the mid-season.
So,
do you feel it?
I feel it. I felt like, there's a lot going on. Like now we're kind of like ramping up. What's going on? I mean, that's actually what's been going on in every episode. What's going on?
But would you say that there's kind of more answers coming your way, or at least like you see things kind of webbing together?
I feel like there's more answers coming. But with every answer, I have another question.
Yeah, that is kind of how it works.
The good mystery that way, yeah.
Yeah, so so do we want to do a little summary of the last episode?
Yeah, we could just start talking through it, I guess.
Yeah.
I could do it. I think I remember what happened.
Please.
This one started with this one I believe started with my good dude Tristan. He is having a tough time because Tim has been in a coma for several weeks, for I believe about 2 weeks at that point, and decides to make a phone call that does not go very well for him, both now and in the past. And he's really in a desperate spot. And luckily, in that desperation comes a friend in the likes of Miss Jessica, who shows up, and really she wants to become a friend, but it turns out that she also realized that there's some really weird things going on with him, and she just wants to know about them, or that's how it seems anyways. And so he just, being in that desperate spot, he kind of spills the beans. She's still not sure what he's, if any of the stuff that he's saying is true or not. But in the end, they're able to basically get Tim out of the hospital, get him back to Essence House. All along the way, Tim wakes up. Why? We're not completely sure. And they're able to get to Essence House back to their time, most likely.
Oh!
And when he comes out, right there, they see Uncle Rick and Uncle Rick's assistant, who seems to look a lot like someone else we know.
And that's where we got left.
That's where we got left. My wife, so Eric built that end so perfectly, because if you listen to that end, it literally ends, Jessica, he whispered, boom, and the music is right, like, I think it's even like in the whispered part, it comes right out, and you're like, no, I'm getting something. And my wife knew it right away.
No.
Right.
No.
That was a lot of fun. That was super intentional. I was like, anybody who's been listening to this point knows when that music's coming on. That episode so as soon as that sentence came on, I started to end it just so you knew that the next sentence you weren't getting much further past. That was fun.
I'm sure it killed many people listening.
That's what we refer to in the industry as a dick move.
Ah, is that a technical term?
Yeah.
That's a technical term.
So I guess since we talked about it, I do want to pop in with a question, because we have a question from Kieran, who wants to know why did removing Tim from the hospital awake him from the coma? Is that something we can talk about or just theorize on?
I think we can. Do you think we can talk about it?
Yeah, I don't think there was any real mystery.
Can I give you the second half of the question real quick? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, that's my fault. Did getting closer to the Essence House restore his consciousness? And that's what I was wondering.
I think that's pretty close to the answer.
Like there's something tied with the energy of the house.
Honestly, he might have naturally in the hospital come out during like that period of time. So I mean,
it seems like
I think it's pretty safe to surmise that getting closer to the house, and which ultimately that house being in all times, clearly time travel was affecting him, and so the house is kind of I guess a beacon of sorts.
Maybe like a portal or the power center or something. I don't know what in a haunting you'd call it, the heart of the haunting.
Yeah, I mean it houses the essence. So hence the Essence House.
Clip. That's the clip. That's the clip right there. I do want to.
One thing that I liked right up front in the episode was the phone call, though. I thought that was a cool, like, little emotional moment where it was also like it was a moment where Tristan kind of had like this, like it kind of clicked, like this happened. I got this phone call when I was a kid, and I know exactly what's going on the other side of the line. And so, like, when you expound on that some, I mean, if everything that happened is always going to happen, then like that plane crash is hopeless.
No matter what had happened.
The things around it always were going to happen and always affected what's going on. So even attempts to stop it are potentially affecting what's going on. Like and always did.
So the emotional aspect was what I was most excited about. And so getting into that one and knowing that was going to be a fairly emotional episode, I wanted to just kind of make you aware of that right away. And so that scene was, you know what? It was just one right away. The funny thing is that we usually end on a punch. I wanted to try and start on a punch so that you go, oh, okay. Because I knew, again, that this was going to be fairly dialogue heavy. So, you know, when you're writing a comic and you know that there's going to be a lot of back and forth, you usually want to try to maybe throw in a little fight at the beginning or something, just so it's like, that'll shut them up for a little bit, you know?
So I knew we're talking a little bit about the emotional stuff, but I do really like my favorite things is like one of the things I like is when there's these little pop culture references that like really bring you back to that time period. And one of my favorites is when Tristan is talking to Jessica and he's trying to convince her about, he's like, I'm going to tell you something so you'll believe me. And then you guys used The Simpsons, Who Killed Mr. Burns story arc.
That was crazy because it just so happened that I was hitting the Disney Plus real hard at that point, and I had hit that episode. And I remembered that being such a pivotal moment. I mean, I remember being in school, talking with our friends about who did it, blah, blah, blah. And I looked into it, and I was like, what? That happened in 95? Oh, I mean, man. I did this research for a reason. Like, I got to do something. So it just kind of came in at that point. It felt like it was supposed to be there all along. Which is funny how much as Eric and I have gone along, so much of everything we've done, even just it being a podcast, working with you in the after show, everything, it's just been like, dude, what about this? What about that? Because, you know, your brain just goes there because all this, everything kind of snapped together. So that was just one other little Lego piece that suddenly was there, and you're like, yeah, that's got to be in
there. Yeah. I like how she's like, like that episode is several months later when the payoff is. So she's like, that's like what he chooses. And she's like, hey, is there anything a little more that I don't have to wait so long for?
You gotta wait till the end of summer. And they're like in the beginning of January. Are they in the beginning of January
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, no, actually, 2 weeks later, he'd probably be in the beginning of February.
Okay.
Yeah, they're somewhere late January, early February.
Yeah.
There's probably some math we could do if we had it in front of us, but
Well, I think if I remember correctly, they ended up finding out that they ended up showing up almost 2 weeks late. It was like the 17th or something like that.
17th was in
So
my head.
2 weeks after like that, it might be like Groundhog Day-ish or something like that.
Yeah.
They still have a long time to wait for this and the Simpsons to end.
That was the nice thing though, because I could just write that off as, dude, I was a kid. Like I don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
Try to remember something now. I can't remember anything like significant really from 1995. Anybody?
Anything I remember is all music related.
Yeah, I know, right? I can now that we did the research.
Yes.
Yeah, that too.
But had I not done the research, no.
Yeah, see, like, I don't know. Like, I was like, can I even name a movie off the top of my head that I know came out in 95? I don't.
Pulp Fiction?
Did we say this?
I think Pulp Fiction came out earlier. I'm going to say Usual Suspects, which is one of my favorites. I think that came out
1994.
Ah.
Usual Suspects. 95.
Woohoo! Look at Chuck.
August 16th.
Chuck's the trivia guy, though.
No, you know what?
That's
You're right. That's true. This isn't fair. Chuck is
Yeah, it's totally not fair.
Not fair. Not fair. Not fair at all.
Speaking of research, the pizzeria.
Is that real?
It's a real pizzeria that Chuck researched and found existed back then.
And still exists to this day.
So when we released the New York tour of Essence House.
I checked out like reviews of it, Yelp reviews, and everyone's like, "Oh, I've been going here for decades." And so I looked into the history of it and stuff, and I was like, "All right, badass." So yeah, I think it's actually been around since the early '90s. So yeah, that was, and it's like right around the corner from there. I mean, honestly, I was doing so much research, but so many of the places there are actually really nice fine dining places, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this isn't. No, that wouldn't have been around, I'm sure. You know, like you just know that some places are not even worth researching.
Yeah.
So Smiling came up, and people had said, "Oh, I've been going there forever." And I'm like, "Great, okay, cool. So let's research this place." And sure enough, it's been around for a long time.
That's a lot of fun. So if anybody's like from that neighborhood, they'll recognize it.
Yeah.
If I go to New York now, I have to hit Smile. I'm gonna have to hit Smiley Pizza. Like if I do New York Comic Con or whatever, I want to make a little run into Brooklyn and hit up New York, or I want to hit up Smiling.
Yeah, see, I did New York last year, and I went to I was in Jersey for a while. I went to New York City, and then I went out to Amityville. But like now, I wish I had time to go up north to check out the area where Essence House would be, and all those little places and stuff. Like, I feel like I went to New York a little too early. I have to return.
Yeah, you have to make another trip and check out where Essence House takes place. Let's see where we're talking. And I got really hungry listening to the pizza thing because it's like Jess is eating pizza and I'm like, yes, I would like to eat pizza. But every time I listened to it, I was like, yes, I would. Pizza me.
So, what's your guys' favorite pizza?
Like I'm like a good pepperoni pizza. Or
like
you say type?
Chicago, there's the Chicago deep dish.
I've always wanted real Chicago deep dish.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Like.
Yeah, I'd like to try that.
But you know what? I like when I went to New York, that was like one thing. I was like, I want to have some real New York pizza. And it was really good. Like big, I mean, it was flat, but like the cheese and the like you need to like fold the piece and fold it up. And I got the fold down
over your hand.
Yeah, I got the fold down pretty quick and it was really good. Like
I've had California approximations of both, but not real ones.
So I've had pizza almost every which way. I've never done real deep dish, but I did a convention last summer and I was way up north in Texas at a place I'd never been before. It's a grouping of small towns, so I didn't even know what I was doing. And luckily one of the guys I'd edited for, he messages me in my hotel room that night, and he goes, "Hey, man, do you want to go out and get something to eat?" I'm like, "Yes, I would love that." And so he's like, "Man, I found this pizza place not too far from where I'm at." I'm like, "Okay, cool, let's go." So we went there, and they had like a deep dish style pizza. I still have the picture. I took a picture of it. It was so good. And it was all just like meat in the middle with this layer of cheese on top.
Nice.
And we just each had one slice. And one slice each was like $5, $5 or $6 with a drink. But
That's
dude, you're done. Like that's a meal. Like I didn't even finish it all.
Yeah,
It was good.
I had it out in Palm Springs. There's a Chicago style, with the deep dish. It's very good. I'd like to try a real one though. So Essence House has successfully made me want pizza for over 2 weeks now, and I still haven't had it.
Oh, you should see the food next week.
Where's the food in next week's episode of Essence House?
I don't think we had any.
So Kieran says, "Is Rick going back in time to affect the boys' mission?"
Man, that's actually kind of complicated.
Ooh.
I'd be right. I'd be interested to hear why you feel that way. Not to say no, but more just like, what is it that would make you think that?
I mean, I guess I can see like there was the mystery man with the bike.
Yes, that's the next second half of the question. Is he the one that pushed the kid on the bike and knocked over the items at the restaurant?
So there's stuff going on.
There is stuff going on, and I would like to dig into it, but it seems as though we cannot.
I want to say that we might get some sort of answer to that. Definitely by the end of the season. Maybe
we might even see something in episode 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to put that on Chuck yet since he's finishing.
No, my head went there. My head's there.
Yeah.
Did he kidnap Jessica as she exited the restaurant? Is that why she now appears at his side when they return to the tool shed? Because that's the question. What the heck's going on?
Well, but she drove them after that. So
yeah, I think we can definitively say that didn't happen.
Yeah, if he was going to kidnap her, he'd have to kidnap her after she dropped them off at the Essence House.
Yeah, right? Because she drops him off at the Essence House. I don't know what happens to her at that point. Maybe Rick comes in and then somehow she's in the future with Rick. But it's an older version of her. So did he?
Somehow she is in the future with Rick. That's true.
Very. No.
Well, no one has really said it yet. And I kind of want to, I don't know if I want to say anything yet, but if you listen to the end of episode 5, you know what? I'm going to say it just because this is for the 3 people who actually watch the after show. If you listen to the end of episode 5, it says that she looks like she's in her mid-30s. But that doesn't make sense either.
Because she's in her early 20s in the 95.
She should either be in her early 20s or in her early 50s. So what the hell is going on?
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft is likely.
Witchcraft. Oh,
You're falling back on witchcraft again.
Or maybe she has that, like a portrait of Dorian Gray that ages for her.
Right. Well, next episode, it's voodoo, so don't worry.
Oh, sweet.
We did have something fun that we wanted to share with you guys that we probably could have shared a while ago.
The Timbit.
Do you want to go ahead? Because this is your baby.
Yeah, so from the beginning, we avoided saying that it was a time travel story. I know a couple people guessed it pretty early on, and we actually laid it on pretty thick without saying it. I mean, we had clock images, and we had the clock tower on the house, and I mean, the story begins with the words "It's about time." So we laid it on a little bit.
We were telling you
Yeah.
it's about time.
And then we had that. We felt really free after the third episode to just talk about it. But right up front, the main character, what's his name, Jess?
Tim
Edmund, Tim E.
Time.
Wah, wah.
So
it's funny because there's a lot of really good time pun stuff that Eric had already set up. And he's like, oh, this and that, like time is of the essence and stuff like that. And so I was like, yeah, okay, let's like that's just fun. That's just fun.
There's a lot more of that coming up.
So now I feel like I have to go back to episode 1 and catch all the little hidden time. See, I didn't even think. I was like, Tim Edmund, no.
Tim E.
You know, I saw the graphic image. I was like, Eric must have done. There's got to be something in this picture of the house. I stared at that house. I counted stupid things on it. I was like, was it the windows? Does that have to do with the windows? Like,
somebody said something about the lights being on and stuff.
Yes,
and I'm like, man, we didn't even go to that level. Like, holy crap.
The original copy on the ad said it's about time for something new from Eric Cockrell and Chuck Pino. And then Chuck was like, I think we've laid it on heavy enough. And I was like, okay. We it's about time right off the very top.
Well, I like that it did go into a time travel story.
It worked out.
Yeah, I like it a lot because, like, for me, one of my favorite movies growing up or series was Back to the Future. So this is like, you know, and I think we discussed it's like the same almost amount of time jump back as Back to the Future was when we were growing up.
Yep.
It's funny because I've never been big into time, but I didn't have to be sold on doing this because time isn't the major portion of this. It's really the family and the mystery really and the stuff that's going on.
It's not really like Back to the Future. Like, it's not all about the time travel, really. It's just a thing.
Time is something fun that we get to play with, but it's not the main thing.
But it's a fun element.
Yes.
Yep. That it is.
It's fun. I enjoy it. I think I'd like to see where it's going. So are you guys working on the next episode?
Oh yeah, the next episode. Should I talk about it a little bit now? I mean,
go ahead. Yeah.
Things I can say. We meet more of the family. We have a change of venue.
Ooh.
And there's a payoff in the episode that actually pays off mysteries in at least two different episodes. And I think it's a pretty big moment. Not sure how much more I could really say about it. And there's actually a time travel piece in the episode too. Again,
we also get to see different. I liked what Eric did with this one because we get to see different sides of both Tim and Tristan in this one, and so I really enjoyed what he did with that.
They get to interact with some new people, so
yeah,
I think it's got the first like real scene with Roland.
Ooh.
If that's not too much to say.
Ooh.
No, I think that's cool. I think yeah, that's a great teaser actually.
Because we've had Tristan relate a story about Roland before, but we've never really actually had a Roland scene like this.
Yeah.
Oh man. I just like to see what happens next and kind of see like what had their trip back in time affected anything in the present.
That's going to take a little bit I would say that you already kind of maybe know that on some level, just because of the end of episode 5. Like that, those last 2 seconds kind of tell you, okay,
well, something's
different. Yeah. So there was ripples made, and I'm surprised that you didn't notice the ripples happening. People don't talk about them a lot. Think back to the restaurant.
Yes.
What happened in the restaurant?
They ate pizza.
They did eat pizza. Did anything else interesting happen? Anything weird? I know I'm grilling her. It's such a dick move.
We're gonna find a new host next week.
Oh man. I don't know, Chuck. Tell me what happened.
Well, what about with the napkins or with the chili flakes?
How come I don't remember with the napkins and the chili flakes?
So they were talking. I don't remember what they were talking about, but they were talking, and suddenly the napkin container on their table just flew off the table.
Why don't I remember that at all? I just
don't know.
listened to the pizza scene.
And then at the end, after Jessica left, Tristan is getting up to leave, and chili flakes go flying across the room, and they explode over top of a couple. And then when he looks around to find out what was happening, everyone's staring at him because supposedly it came from his direction.
So the time...
That's all I'm giving you. I'm just telling you. Other funky shit is happening, and you guys aren't noticing. That's it.
Is it the bike? Did the bike thing? Does that have to do with it? Did the bike fall? The kid on the bike? And
I think that potentially ties into all that. You know we ain't answering nothing here.
I know, you're just making it worse. You're just making it worse.
Make it worse. Yeah, but at least now you're seeing it.
Damn.
It's funny. My mom messaged me recently, and she said, "What's going on?" I said, but there was no context.
Oh,
She's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I mean, everything's okay. You know, we just got some shit happening." Blah, blah. She's like, "I don't care about that. I mean, at the house. What's going on?" I'm like, "The house? Yes. How is the house there? It makes no sense." I was like, "Oh, so you're listening to Essence House? Okay, cool.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, keep listening, Mom. Like you'll learn." She's like, "Well, I haven't gotten past episode 2 yet because I had to listen to episode 1 3 times." Well, why'd you have to listen to episode 1 3 times? Because once I heard episode 2, I wanted to go back and find out what I missed. Like, I love you, Mom. I love you very much. So
he needs to get to episode 6 so that at the end of episode 6,
1, 2, 3 goes back 1, 2, 3, 4.
You'll definitely want to
I used to do that a lot.
after number 6.
Yeah, now I feel like I have to go back because I feel like I missed so much. And I was just listening an episode when I wasn't looking for anything. So now listening to it, I'll be looking for listening.
Yeah.
Listening for stuff.
Well, yeah, and like he said, now that you know about those weird occurrences, they've happened in other moments, and you guys haven't noticed them because no one's asked us about them.
What about the old lady at the shop in the beginning? Does that have to do with this? Maybe.
We dropped a pretty hefty steak on your plate right now. I'm not giving you any sauce for that, sweetheart.
Fine. I accept, but now everybody go back. Go back to the first one. Go all the way
back
through.
And rewatch. Yeah, please hit those numbers up. We want to get more welcomes from Buzzsprout.
Yeah,
you've now hit 500 views.
Are you guys on Buzzsprout? What platforms are you guys on?
Well, Buzzsprout is our host, so we're on there. But I mean, we're on iTunes, Google, Spotify,
iHeartRadio.
Yeah, iHeartRadio. TuneIn is like
Stitcher.
Yeah. There's like I don't know, a bunch of really small ones that pick you up based on you being on the big ones. So there's some that I don't even know. Like I trip across this on different things all the time. But
do they just pick us up?
Yeah, the big ones I had to submit to, but the really small ones they just kind of pick up like whoever's on iTunes or whatever. They just kind of pick you up. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I've been pushing it.
You guys are on Spotify too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually one of the easier ones to get on, surprisingly. They were really late to the podcast game, but now they just take anybody.
Hey.
And
yeah.
But it's cool to like go to Spotify and you can just search Essence House and it's right there.
Right? I thought the coolest thing was when Eric was showing off his Alexa.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's so badass.
Yeah.
So
you get to play the newest episode and it just does it. I love that.
So convenient. I know I've listened to my Amazon Echo? I have an Amazon Echo and that's what I listen to it on in the kitchen.
Yeah, I was just like washing dishes and I just kind of yelled across the apartment to play it and there it was.
Very convenient. I love it. I'm like, computer, play Essence House. I call mine computer. Sorry.
You actually call it what, like some Star Trek thing?
I changed the command so that it's computer. I'm like, computer, set timer.
Play Essence House.
Yes. So, sorry, my phone just beeped. I don't know why. Shall we wrap it?
Sure.
Nice little bow so Eric doesn't have to cut all this up later.
I think we've rolled pretty well today.
Yeah, we did pretty good. We're clocking in at 40 minutes recorded, so we'll probably be able to get
but
we got started.
We fucked around for 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, and then
12 minutes of pizza.
And then, oh man, I still want pizza though, so bad.
Dude, it's only like 5:30 there. You're fine.
I know. I'm like, I should order a pizza. Well, I will order a pizza. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Essence House After Show. When's the next episode out, guys?
So the next episode is next Wednesday, the 11th of February. No, March.
I know, right? It's like, boom!
Yeah.
January, March.
Already March.
Episode 5 or episode 6 for you guys, and episode 5 for everybody else.
Yep.
Oh shit, that's right.
Big thanks again to you guys. I mean, we don't have big numbers, but every little bit helps.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
I think we should, remind people, if you like it, share it so other people can hear it.
Yep. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
And even if people don't get on Patreon, to get them on iTunes, anything.
Yeah,
because even just knowing that people enjoy it, like, and I keep telling people, you're far enough into the show now that you can ask questions about the episodes that came before.
Yeah.
And we still might not have, there's a good chance we still haven't answered your question in the show. So you're okay.
Yep. And there's almost 2 hours of content out there right now.
Oh, wow. That's a car drive. Somebody on a car trip now if you've been waiting, you can listen to it.
Yeah, I think next week will be 2 hours.
Oh, man.
Maybe 6 20-minute episodes about.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can you believe it? It just 2 months ago, it was one episode. The only little episode on January 1st.
I was looking at the times of the how long the episodes are, because we don't try to stick to a specific time. Eric and I are just always like, let's go around 3,000 to 3,500 words, and it usually ends up being longer than that. So we usually end up clocking in closer to 3,500. So, but that means that when I ended up looking at our times, it was like the first one was like 19, and then 21, then 20, then 18, and I'm like, oh damn, like we're really like right in this like little like perfect time period, right around that 20-minute mark. So it's really funny.
Yeah.
I think 5 is our longest. I think it clocks in about 23 or 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was worth it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was a good one. And 6 is gonna, man, you guys are gonna have a great time with 6.
thank you. We thank them.
Yeah, thank you guys again.
Thank you for
So
watching.
much.
If you have questions, put them in the comments. We always take them and bring them and record them for the next episode.
Yeah. And even if they're about previous episodes, like
Mhm.
we can help connect some dots maybe if they've been put out there already.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.